This tragic story now. Authorities are investigating the cause of the fire that killed 5 family members in Pretoria West. Their house went up in flames in the early hours of this morning. eNCA's Masego Rahlaga is there. She joins us now with more details. So, Masego, at this stage, it's obviously a picture that's evolving in trying to understand how this fire started, what the circumstances are, and of course investigations are underway. What do we know at this stage?
Well, what we do know, Tilasizwe, is that 5 people passed away. One of them a 41-year-old helper, 4 sons. Their mother and their youngest sibling were able to escape. They were saved by a neighbor. So that's all we know at the moment. We also know their ages. We know that it's the Selepe family. They were living here, a mother, her 5 children, as well as her helper. The mother and her youngest survived. We know that they are at a hospital somewhere here in the city of Tshwane, being treated for smoke inhalation. We know from the family members that we spoke to earlier on, Tilasizwe, that she's not aware at the moment that she's lost 4 of her children. Wherever she is, she's thinking that they were saved. So that's the information we have. We know that the youngest of the people who have passed away was 8 years old, and his oldest brother is 24, all 4 of them boys, as well as the helper. But here is emergency services, a spokesperson from emergency services here in the city of Tshwane, telling us more information about what we know so far.
A fire investigating officer was commissioned to the incident. He was at the incident this morning, but no report has been released as yet. And the law enforcement officers are also on the scene, and they have been on the scene since this morning. And as soon as the reports are available, or maybe a preliminary report is available, we might be able to communicate on that. It's 5 deceased. Of the 5 is 1 helper, aged about 41, as well as 4 sons, aged 6, 8, 22, and 24. And the mother is 46, and he escaped with the 3-year-old child that was rescued by the neighbor.
So that's Charles Mabaso there from the City of Tshwane Emergency Services. So tragic as the situation is, Masego, there's also an element of courage that was displayed, at least by this one neighbor who tried to come to the rescue of the family. You spoke to that neighbor a bit earlier on, putting up really a brave effort to try and rescue, and in fact managing to rescue at least the mother and a 3-year-old child.
That's correct, Tilasizwe. The neighbor says that he received a call from the mother asking him to please come help them. There's a fire in the house. She's not sure where it's coming from, and they're all stuck in there. He says when he arrived here, he heard screams, and that's what led him to the main bedroom of the house. He broke the window down, but he couldn't go in or gain entry because of the fact that there were burglar bars. So he managed to get an axe and break down that burglar bar, and that's how he gained entry into the house. He says when he got there, the mother was there in the middle of the main bedroom with her youngest child in her arms. She handed over the child to him so that he could save the child first, and then he was able to come back and take her out of the main bedroom window. But unfortunately, when he got back the 3rd time, Tate Mataung says that he could no longer gain entry because the house was engulfed. And he says at that point the screaming had stopped. Here is Ntate Simon Mataung, the neighbor who acted as a hero in the early hours of this morning.
I was alerted by the owner of the house. I said to him, I must come and help the people because the house is on fire. It's burning. I was at work around 1:30 in the morning, so I rushed here. And then when I get here, I found out the house is burning. And I heard voices of people screaming in the house for help. And then I tried to look around and get something to break the window. I managed to break the window at the main bedroom. And then I used the axe to break the butler door and push it inside actually. And then the lady was standing there with a baby of 4 or 5 years. Managed to pull the baby outside, and I put him somewhere here. I went back again to go and help the lady to come out. When I go for the third time to help the others, the flames were now big. I couldn't because I was suffocating. The smoke was heavy. Yeah, that's it. I'm really traumatized where I am. I've never seen something like this. I always hear these things from the news somewhere, maybe somewhere, not here. But if something happens around here, then it's really traumatizing.
Understandably so. Simon Mutaung there, the neighbor, being traumatized, having witnessed what he witnessed, and all that gallantry that he showed in the midst of what was really a difficult situation. Masego, any word on the investigations into the cause of the fire and the circumstances at this particular point?
We still don't have that information at the moment, Tilasizo. When we spoke to Charles Mabaso earlier on of the emergency services here in the city of Tshwane, he told us that they have given the team until the end of the day to come up with a report as to what caused the fire. But we also did speak to the family of the people who died here today, and they were saying that, it's obviously a shock for them being called this morning to come here. They expected to find, some of the information that they received to be untrue. They were hoping that they would get here and find that the information that they had received from emergency services would be untrue. But unfortunately for them, when they arrived here, they did, they had to come to terms with the fact that they've lost 4 family members and a helper who actually is also the 5th family member to us, because a helper also becomes part of the family. So, the Selepe family at the moment mourning. They did ask us to leave the premises so that they can lock and start with the preparations. They are still needing to meet as a family to see how they'll be able to help their sister, who in fact, to us, we found out, lost her husband earlier this year in July, and now sitting in that hospital bed with her youngest child, not knowing that she's lost 4 of her sons. It's going to hit her hard when the news are broken to her after losing her husband already in July. Now 4 children and her helper. The family is really reeling in shock.
Yeah, what an absolutely horrific story there. eNCA's Masego Rahlaga with that update from Pretoria West there. It's really tragic.